Welcome to Crisis in Perception, where we examine the systems shaping our world one book at a time.
Today, we're diving into Yanis Varoufakis' book, Adults in the Room. And wow, it is a blistering, first-hand account of his time as Greece's finance minister, where he was basically battling Europe's deep establishment.
Here's this academic economist, suddenly thrown onto the world stage, and he comes face to face with this very question. What he went through gives us this really gripping, real-world look at one of the biggest tensions of our time. So let's talk about his mission. When he came into office, he had this really clear mandate from the people. But what he found out, and found out pretty quickly, was that reasoned arguments, even the democratic will of an entire nation, well, they didn't really mean much inside the halls of power. The system, as he argues, it just had its own set of priorities. And right away, almost immediately, he was hit with a choice. Was he going to be an insider, or was he going to be an outsider? He was in an early meeting with the former U.S. Treasury Secretary Larry Summers that the dilemma was just laid out for him plain as day. Summers basically told him, look, you can have a voice and speak the truth as an outsider, or you can have access and influence as an insider. But the key thing, you can't have both.
And this really pulls back the curtain on this hidden network of power, doesn't it? It's a place where loyalty to the group and all its unwritten rules is way more important than any democratic mandate. It's like your allegiance is being tested from the very first day.
So, once he was on the inside, Varoufakis started to piece together these unwritten rules of the establishment. And the first rule he ran into was a real shocker. Elections? Well, they weren't seen as a mandate for change. Nope, they were just an inconvenience, something to be managed. Think about that. This stunning admission from one of Europe's most powerful people really just lays bare the system's core belief that the established economic order has to be protected, no matter what, even from democracy itself.
Another thing he discovered was about austerity. You see, it wasn't just a failed economic policy, which, by the way, a lot of economists already agreed on. He argues its real purpose was something completely different.
So it wasn't really about fixing economies at all. The book calls it a morality play. It's this whole performance designed to punish the so-called sinners and keep this really rigid power structure in place between the people who owe money and the people who are owed. At the end of the day, it's all about control.
Okay, so how do you even begin to visualize a system of power that's so unaccountable?
Well, Varoufakis has a great term for them. He calls these institutions super black boxes. Just picture these huge, opaque networks where all the inner workings are a total mystery. Their decisions are completely shielded from the public. We all feel the outputs of these boxes in our daily lives, but we have almost zero say over the inputs.
What this does is it basically turns the corridors of power into a completely sealed room. All the big decisions are made inside with no windows to the outside world. And when that happens, the real-world consequences for millions and millions of people, they just become this distant, abstract idea.
And the consequences of a system like this, well, they lead straight to a crisis of legitimacy. So why does any of this matter to us? Well, think about it. When people start to feel like their vote doesn't actually count, like their choices are just being ignored, that's when trust completely collapses. The book makes the case that huge events like Brexit or the rise of nationalist movements, these are a direct backlash against that feeling, against this democratic deficit. And that's what Adults in the Room really leaves us with, this massive, fundamental question. You realize it's not just a book about Greece's debt crisis. It's a much deeper look into the health of modern democracy itself. And it forces you to wonder, if power doesn't come from the people, then where on earth does its legitimacy, its right to rule, actually come from? For the full long-form deep dive into this book and its ideas, follow the link in the description. If you enjoy these explainers, please subscribe and comment with books or topics we should explore next.